Welcome to GateX AIML. So far you have seen the organization of the data, data models, data abstraction and all those things. So now we'll understand the database architecture, how actually this DBMS software is implemented. Okay, so basically we are studying the main brain of the database management system, that is the engine, DB engine. So this is responsible for executing all your queries, storing the data, retrieving the data and all those things, how it is exactly done. Okay. So basically you divide it into different components. It has different components, the architecture. So at the top layer you have the application users or different types of users and their interfaces. Then you have set of interpreters and compilers to interpret and compile your DML and DDL queries. Then the query processor which processes all your queries. Okay, there is some processor or it includes compiler as well as the interpreter which will perform the translation. Then the storage manager, which is the important part of the database engine, which actually helps us for authorization, file management and transaction management. So transaction manager is another manager for maintaining the transactions, which is usually part of your storage manager only. And finally, how the raw data it is stored or retrieved from the disk. So finally everything goes for the operating system disks. Okay. Now we'll see each of the components one by one. So now what is database engine? Database engine is the core execution layer of the DBMS. It is the brain. It executes everything. So it is responsible for executing queries, managing stored data, enforcing rules and constraints, handling transaction safety. It acts as the bridge between the user queries and the application programs and the actual data stored on the disk. So this is the user. Then you have the database engine, takes the user queries, processes them, and then deals with the physical disk. Okay. So all the raw files will be stored here. Okay. And then this helps us to give the logical view to the user and process the queries. So basically it contains of three components. Okay. They are core components. So one is storage manager, query processor and transaction manager. So now we'll see one by one what exactly they do. The storage manager connects high level database operation with low level physical storage. Okay. So in the figure if you observe, so this storage manager comes between your physical storage to the interface for the users. So this helps to manage the bridge or bridge between the actual raw data. See, these are the raw data you have stored on the disk and how it manages to deliver to the application interface. So it helps in interface between the application programs and the queries, the operating system file system. Okay. Raw data stored on disk using OS file services. See, at the end of the day, it's an application. Database management system is a software running on your operating system. So all the services you require from the disk should be gone through the operating system calls. Okay, that concept you learn in operating system, how actually a system call works, how exactly the service is provided by the OS hardware services. The storage manager converts DML commands into low-level file operation. Okay. So the user gives the DML commands. This is processed by the query processor and sends to storage manager. Now someone has to convert this into the operating system calls, okay, or low-level operations, file operations. So at the end of the day, all the data is stored as the raw files. So how to open the file, how to close the file, these are services are provided by operating system. That interface is provided by this storage manager. So it is mainly responsible for storing data, retrieving data and updating the data efficiently. Now what are the main components of storage manager? It consists of authorization and integrity manager. See, that means it checks for the integrity constraints and then authorizes the user who is eligible or authorized to access the data. Then the transaction manager to handle the transactions safely. Then file manager to maintain the file records. Then buffer management or buffer manager is required because when the data comes from the disk, the raw data, it has to be buffered or temporarily stored somewhere. So this is buffer management is also part of the storage manager. So what is the layer or the storage layer managed by the data structures? Okay, or the data layer. So data files. stores the actual database records. It helps. Then data dictionary. You already know the concept of data dictionary. All the data dictionary of the schemas should be is maintained and stored in the data storage layer. And the indexes. These are the physical indexes. Indexes means you have stored the records data. So indexing means just like a textbook index, content page you have seen, right? So when I click there, I'll directly go to the data. Okay, so these indexes concepts you learn in the later part of the syllabus. So all these are maintained by your storage layer. Then come to query processor. Its job is handles the query interpretation and execution. See, the user gives the, say for example, SQL queries or DML commands, DDL commands. It has to interpret it and then send it to the storage manager. So its main goal is the interpretation of DDL commands and compilation of DML commands, and then query evaluation engine, the main components. Then it also contains a transaction management, So this is also one module, important module for handling the transaction and the concurrency control. So transaction manager helps in transaction management and concurrency control. So you already know transaction is a set of database operation forming one logical task. So set of operation forming a logical task is a transaction. For example, transfer of money from account A to B. So this transaction management requires the atomicity, the prime property. Each transaction must preserve database correctness. Temporary inconsistency may occur during execution, so this should be handled by the transaction manager. Finally, committed state must be consistent. So for this, you usually have 4 properties. Again, you will learn all these properties in depth in transaction management chapter. So we call them as acid property: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Atomicity, the concept already know. The operation should happen or transaction should happen in entirety or should not happen. Consistency means the results what you write to database should be consistent, that be correct results, not wrong results. Isolation means there are multiple executions going on. Okay, so they should not interfere with one another. Durability means the data you have stored should be durable. That means should be permanent, should be stored for a long time. There should not be any loss in the data. These properties are should be addressed by the transaction manager. So the transaction manager basically consists of 2 parts. One is concurrency control manager. See, transaction management, because of isolation, there are many transactions going on, so isolation should happen. So that is basically isolation. When you come to isolation, we talk of concurrency control. So this topic also we'll see in the later part of your syllabus. And then recovery manager. If there is any problem, so you have to roll back. The example of atomicity I have given. In the transaction management, whenever there is a problem in TCL commands you have seen, whenever there is a problem, you have to able to recover the data. So concurrency control and recovery manager are part of your transaction manager. So it should be able to handle file failures, failure in or crashes. In concurrency control, basically multiple transactions may run simultaneously. So concurrent updates can cause conflict. So isolation should be preserved. The concurrency control manager coordinates concurrent execution, prevents data inconsistency, and then enforces isolation. So these are the major components of your database engine. Now, what are different types of database users or application users? So there are Navy users. Navy users means who doesn't use, they just use are the end users of your application. For example, if you go to any website, if you go to any ATMs to withdraw money, just to see the interface, you are the Navy users. You don't know about anything behind it. You just use it. Application programmers, tomorrow when you go to a software company, you will become a application developer. So there you will be using database. You are developing the application for the users. There, that kind of users, we call it as application programmers. And then sophisticated users, which would directly deal with the database analyst, okay, statisticians, okay, all those roles are called sophisticated users. And then finally the database administrators, DBS, who actually manages and controls your database. So now you'll see the database architecture again, and then how actually it works. A very simple one. So at the top level you have the users. So different types of users may be Navy users, application programmers, sophisticated users, and analysts. So So for each of them, you have different application interface. That is, if you remember the view level. So different users have different views. So the database is divided into three abstraction levels: physical level, okay, logical level, and then view level. So this is actually the view level. For different users, there are different views. Then each of their queries are compiled and linked. So DML queries or DDL interpreter queries are all passed to your organizer, DML compiler and query organizers. It organizes all your query and then sends it for query processor to process them. Okay, this actually converts the high level or QL commands into the machine understandable file operations. So because the files are stored here in the bottom and the disk. So this actually is maintained by your OS. Disk services are maintained by OS. So this helps the storage manager helps in and the query processor together helps in managing the services between the operating system. So then you have buffer manager and transaction manager here in the storage manager. So the query processes and send it to storage manager. Storage manager verifies, authorize, and then check the integrity constraints, and then checks the files where they are stored, because this all files whatever is stored here is maintained by this file manager. So it checks where the file is stored, and using some concept of indexing and all those things, the data is fetched. And then if there are transactions, that is handled by the transaction manager. So this is the overall flow of your database management engine. Okay, so that is overall picture of database architecture, how the architecture is designed. So a simple workflow, how it works. So say user submits request, that is maybe query, program, or through interface. The query or program is compiled or interpreted based on it is DML or DDL. DML is optimized by the query processor. So this is similar to your compiler's concept, how a program is compiled. Then storage manager checks authorization and integrity. So whether he is able to have the access or not, he is authorized to access the data or not, and then checks any integrity constraints. Then buffer manager fetches the required data pages. So what are the data is required from the using the OS services, those raw data is fetched, and then the data is read or written on the disk. If it is write operation, you will write the data to the disk, or else you will read it and send it to the user. That is the workflow of your database. Then when it comes to application development, so application architecture can be 2-tier or 3-tier architecture. So the concept is simple. In 2-tier architecture, what you have is the client side and the database server. Okay, so I'm talking about the application. So client side, the user or the user application. This is the user or user application, and then at the end you have database server. So this maintains your database here. Database is here. So directly interact through the queries. There is no in between layer. In the modern web application, what you see in the internet are usually 3-tier application, where there is an application server where you write your business logic. Okay, so it is like, for example, you take a web page, you have some form to be filled, and this is sent to the server side where your form is processed. And then at the third layer, you have your database where the data is stored or retrieved from. So this is the 3-tier architecture. Here you have the client layer, which is the having the client application, or you call him the user. Then it requests the business application. Here is some server side coding. So it helps us to processing your forms or whatever application you have. So business logic or business is implemented here. Logic is implemented here, and then storage system is in database system, that is data layer. So 3 layers are client layer, business layer, and data layer, or also we call it as application layer. Here there are only 2. Directly you write a queries to the database from the client. There are different types of applications. Some applications uses 2-tier architecture, some uses 3-tier architecture. So that is about the overview of your complete database management system and what you're going to learn this entire syllabus. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.